Hello and good evening, and whenever or wherever you are actually hearing this or seeing this from, welcome to you, and I hope you have a nice experience. I'm going to talk tonight about a couple of things, and then we're going to do a meditation. So if you've never done one of these before, make sure you've got headphones, make sure you're in your pajamas, depending what time zone it is, and enjoy your experience. So yeah. I'll say hello to a few people when they come on. Hi to Ruby, first through the doors. How you doing? This may be going simultaneously on Facebook. We don't know yet. We're just trying some stuff. And I say we, I don't know who we are. Just me, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, tonight I will be talking about... There you go. Hi, Aggie. How you doing? Lisa's here. How are you as well? Glad you could make it. Sorry about the background. It's a bit bland, isn't it, really? It's a bit bland. All the stuff's happening here. This looks really cool here, but over there it just looks very bland. Should get a big green screen or something. Or a nice penthouse with a pool behind. That'll be nice. So anyway, EK, how you doing? Nice to see you. Awesome. So a few people are going to join shortly, so we'll just hang about for them. So, this week, what is going on with the world? What is going on? It was predicted all this would happen. The end of 2024, it's going to look like we don't want to go into year 2025, but this is all part of the clearing out, I guess, all part of the recognition of the fact that we need to change at many different levels. So, yeah. And Bev's here. Chakra Sound Waves, glad you could make it. So... I'll get straight into it then, shall I? Let's have a look. Let's get my mic sorted out. Well, when people talk about aliens and people talk about extraterrestrials and people talk about spirit guides and angels and everything else, everything that's not normally visible, we kind of start jumping to conclusions and making our own ideas. And to be honest, who knows all of the answers? What I'm explaining tonight is my perception, my understanding based on the 10 years I've been doing this work, and also the people I've met and their interesting experiences, and joining the dots together to see what the commonalities are, and plus the intuitive side of myself that I go, that feels right. It's not intellectual; it's a being thing that you go, yeah, that feels right. So yeah, still. Hey, Josh has made it. Great. So I've had a busy week this week. I've been, putting some serious hours sat here, putting the new website together and changing lots of things and adapting things and getting excited about the new course. So I'll tell you more about that later. So first thing, let's start with perspective, okay? Now, in medieval times, people thought about we are the center of the universe. Yeah, obviously, we've learnt more since then and realised that we're not. And there's an old saying that there's more grains of sand than there are stars in the sky. Well, no, there's more stars in the sky than grains of sand. So I got into AI today, did a bit of research, and this is what I've come up with. So, estimated that the number of grains of sand on Earth is a daunting task. But scientists have made rough estimates. It's believed that there are approximately 7.5 times 10 to the power of 18 grains of sand on all the beaches and the deserts in the world. That's 7.5 quintillion, which is, I'm not going to read that, but it's 7.5 with lots and lots of zeros, okay? Grains of sand. So, okay, so that's a lot of sand in it. So when you think you pick up a handful of sand, how many grains are in that? Each one of those is represented by a star. So then I said, well, okay, if that's the grain of sand, how many stars are there? Now, there are 200 billion trillion, right? Let's get that here. 200 billion trillion which is approximately 26,667 times larger than 7.5 quintillion. So what that means, there is 27,000 more, 27,000 times that number of grains of sand in stars. You have to get your head around that. So that's in the known universe so far. As technology increases, that's going to be even bigger. So when you think about it, every single grain of sand is just a star, okay? So a star, a planet, or whatever. And that there are 26,000 times all of the sand, times 26, that's how many stars there are at the moment. And it's always expanding. So if we're a planet, Earth, we are one grain of sand. That's it. So let's put that in perspective in the idea of the fact that what if is there life out there? Now, the people that say, well, there's not life out there, well, the chances are that there is, based on just those numbers alone. It's ridiculous to think that we're not. So that's the one theory, okay? So we've got all these planets, all these stars, right? Now, apart from that, just to complicate things, when we're seeing the physical reality like this, it's a frequency. And I'm not talking about, hi, my dear, great for joining. I'm not talking about the fact that, these are the amount of stars, 200 billion, trillion, etc., etc. I'm talking about the fact that that's one frequency band. And there's many frequency bands. So if you look at these lines here, this is just me on AI, just getting ideas together, illustrations together to represent my ideas. So imagine one little sliver of that is a frequency band. And so that is what the known universe is on. That's the physical reality. And all these other bands are representations of the other non-physical realities. So what this means is that we may look at a piece of space and go, well, actually, there's 5 planets there, and there's one that orbits this, and there's this, cluster of stars over here. But on another level of frequency, and I'm not talking about infrared, I'm not talking about our scientific abilities at the moment, but on another energy frequency, another frequency vibration, there could be a whole new set of planets, a whole new set of civilizations. So as we're talking here now, I'm talking, you're listening, hopefully. Like in this room, we're getting a physical presentation, but there are other energies as well. There's other energies within this space, but they're not in this physical space, but they're in this frequency of space, if that makes sense. And all we have to do, like a radio, we can tune into it and tune out of it. And some people are more effective at doing this than others. So, and when we think about other civilizations, it's easy to think that this is solid and we are physical, and that these other civilizations are floaty and they ethereal, ethereal. But if you look at some of the AI generations now, this is some I did today. I say create a city that could exist in another reality. And the type of beings that would inhabit that is from a Star Wars film, but that's really kind of cool. Same with this. I mean, this looks like it exists somewhere. And we may find out in the future, maybe not in our generation, maybe a few generations, that actually, you were tapping into, the AI was already tapping into information from another reality, because this doesn't exist in this reality. This doesn't exist in physical form, but the information is coming from somewhere. So you could say, well, artificial intelligence is just making it up, but it comes from the quantum field. We're all in this quantum field of energy. Everything exists in this quantum field in different vibrational forms, because if it was all the same, we'd all be squashed into one place. Okay? So everything is in this field. So some people call it quantum field. I like to think of it as what Tom Campbell says, consciousness, and we are consciousness in a different frequency. So imagine if we are, okay, so I'm getting pictures. So imagine that you get the sea, and that's consciousness, and you get some of that sea and you make an ice cube out of it, which is who we are. Say we're all ice cubes. You're in a different form, but you're still part of that. And eventually pop the ice cube back into the sea and it dissolves back in. So it takes different forms so that we can experience different things. So some of the fundamental ideas about this is that one is that we exist in a quantum field, if you accept that. And 2, if that is true, everything's information, and that other beings, other intelligences are expressing themselves through that. So consciousness is expressing itself through so many different forms of, from the tiniest insect to other civilizations that are beyond our comprehension. So that's what I believe, and I'll tell you why. We have this idea of what aliens are and ETs, and one of the people I listen to, I think I've got a great respect for him, is called Bashar. And if you don't know, Bashar is a channel. And he said by the end of 2026, and he doesn't normally predict things, or the beginning of 2027, a significant event will take place, a UFO event that will signal the beginning of open contact. So just think about that for a moment. The beginning of 2027, the end of 2026. So what's happened since I've been doing my work is that when information comes through like this, there's a part of me that sometimes it twitches as if to go, yeah, that's correct. And it's like it's a knowing. I mean, there's some theories out there and I go, don't know that. Don't know about that. Not really sure about that. But then there's some information that comes through and I go, I already know that. And I believe that is true. So Bashar's putting his reputation out there. What little reputation I've got, I'm putting it out here. I think by the end of 2026. Now, there are countless sightings now. And that's due to one thing that we've all got sort of digital cameras. We've all got, portable devices we can record these things on. So I'm going to just show you some footage here that's and speak over it. Let's have a look. You are here somewhere. Let's have a look. No, that's the ant. Just bear with me. Have a look at this picture while I have a look. That's interesting. Okay. They don't want you to see it. I'm going to drag it in anyway. Right, just a minute. This is called... So I got really prepared and then a light went out. And yeah, some stuff happened. So it's all right. It's cool. I'll not blame the government. Let's have a look. Drag that in there. Might work. Right, just bear with me. This is called working ad hoc. There you go. Right, I'm just going to jump to this screen here. Then I'm going to bring this in. Nope. I was so prepared as well, eh? Alright, just keep talking amongst yourselves while I fiddle about. I'm definitely going to show you this because it's important. Let's have a look. It's not that. Here we go. No, it's not that. I will edit this out, you know that. You're only going to see it, so don't worry about it. Let's have a look. It's very interesting now. There we go. Now I've got it. Are you ready? It's well worth the wait. Let's go that one. Okay. Right. So what you can see here, this was the files released by the Pentagon. And they've got so much stuff. And this is the stuff they're releasing to the public. And this was, it's quite famous. It's called the Tic Tac video. And it was filmed by the US Navy with their high-tech equipment. And this craft was actually flying against the wind. And they're in these super fast jets and they can't keep up to it. So it's actually rotating. And you notice there's a slight force field around it as well. And if you... and then they actually locked onto it. So this is flying just above the sea. And apparently it dropped thousands of feet in seconds. Thousands of feet in seconds. And they're tracking it. And they returned back to the base, or they returned back to the ships. And it was there at the same time as well. So, I mean, it's pretty incredible what's going on. I did have a lot more footage, but never mind. It was not meant to be. So you can look up the footage that's happening now online. There's loads of it. And... I think some of it's fake, obviously. because there's people trying to hide the fact. But there's a lot of information coming out. And my gut feeling is that the governments have always been in contact with these, let's call them extraterrestrials or other beings. And it's now that they've been pressurized. I feel like they've already been told, listen, we're going to make more presence here, 26, 27, because there's this ascension that's happening. And to be honest, with the advent of AI coming on and the amount of wars that are kicking off at the moment, I think this is the perfect time for any intervention. If intervention is required, I think this is what's going to happen. So I think also that it's important that we reevaluate what we believe to be ETs, aliens, and everything else. One of the things we must accept is that if they have the advanced technology to be able to travel like that, what we've just seen and more, then if they wanted to destroy us, they would do. I mean, that's a given. And I do honestly think there's a universal law that, warring factions, warring lower consciousness civilizations are kept far enough apart so that they don't interfere with each other. So some of the ideas about the aliens are, let's have a look. The common idea is that, we call things that belong in outer space or come from outer space as aliens. They're also known as star beings, which is nice, used in a spiritual metaphysical communities. Star people refers to beings from other star systems. So we've got Palladian, Arcturian, Lyran, so many different ones. Also affectionately known as galactic beings, which refer to the extraterrestrials from different galaxies. Same thing. Interdimensional beings, that's a good one. Suggests that these beings exist in different dimensions or planes of existence. Some of the images that Hollywood tends to portray is, horrible aliens with big teeth that tap into our psyche and, trigger that fear response from the reptilian part of our brain. And we've got, this is a more spiritual aspect of it, the idea that, we can connect with our consciousness and connect with these beings. Also, as another name is star seeds. That's been thrown around a lot recently. People go, I'm a star seed. I'm from such and such a place. They don't know that, but they feel that it's true. So to them, it is true. And it may be true, but I'm saying they can't prove it. A lot of these things you can't prove. That refers to souls believed to have originated from other planets or star systems. Now, the only issue I have with that, if we're all part of this quantum field, okay, then if they originate from another star system, but originally they come from the quantum field anyway, they come from consciousness. So they didn't just exist and go, I'm suddenly Palladian. They manifested as Palladian. They incarnated as Palladian. So when people say I'm a starseed, well, yeah, that's maybe true, but that's an intermediate. You must have probably been lots of different things. I've been told I've been lots of different things on lots of different planets, but I don't know if that's true. So anyway, what else we got? Yeah. So starseeds, like beings, cosmic beings, a term used to denote beings from cosmos or outer space. The famous Greys, a specific race of extraterrestrials often mentioned in UFO lore. And Nordics, I like Nordics, these are cool. There's a unique joke there, but I won't bother. It's Nordics. Another specific group of extraterrestrials designed as tall, human-like, often like the Pleiades star system. And that's what a Nordic is supposed to look like. It looks like the guy out of Lord of the Rings, doesn't it? A little bit. He's a bit Nordic. I can't think of his name now. If anybody thinks of his name, just stick it in the chat. So yeah, and people said that they've met these physically, and they've also said that they've met these, in other realities as well. What's that one there? There you go. Right. So we can say that these other beings can be from another reality. Now, my experience, here we go. My experience is that when I've been in altered states and when I do healings with people, I perceive, I never just perceive me. It's not just me doing the work. It's not. I perceive, there's a moment where there's other energies that come in. Now, these energies can represent themselves as anything they want, I guess, but they always seem to be very high vibrational. They always seem to be very bright and light. If there were anything else but that, then I wouldn't work with them, and I don't think my system would entertain that anyway. And there's been a few times it's been quite remarkable when I've been in a deep state. I remember one of these tall beings, a little bit like the one I showed you earlier, came in, and it was like, let's have a look, is that one there? Yeah, a little bit like that, but not quite like that. But they were really tall, about 7.5, 8 feet, and it was a male, and they sent a light, an energy light, and it went straight into my heart, and I could feel it. And they explained why they were doing it, and it was intense. I was curled up on the floor. It wasn't painful, but it was very intense. And what had happened, it felt like there was a group of beings, and then they brought this person in, and they said he was a divine specialist, and that was his job, to come in. So it's a bit like a technician. I've seen this so many times. There'll be a technician who'll be really good at something. You go, okay, well, just go and get, actually in a hospital, you might get somebody who's working on somebody. You go, actually, we've got a problem here. Let's go and get a heart specialist. So a consultant would come in, they would do a specific procedure, and then they'd go. And that's kind of how it works. But they work on the non-physical. They work energetically. So my experience of it is that these beings come into the field to do certain things, or to work their energy through the person that's working, the healer. Yeah, and that's why, and also the light language comes through. We speak this light language. Now, sometimes that comes through my higher self, but I'm also aware that sometimes it's a different language, it's a different frequency. I can feel it shift, and it actually changes my vocal cords. So that's kind of cool. And if you watch Bashar, he's been channeling this version. He'll tell you all about it if you go to look up Bashar stuff. He's really good at what he does, and he experiences this shift. So he's aware of what's been said, but he's out of it. And that's kind of similar to all channels, really. And I think when people are seeing buildings like this, they are also channeling, whether they're architects or creative, especially creative people, because they're in the creative zone. They're in that other zone. They're not in their intellect. They're in this other place. So, and when I used to do plant medicine, I would see clearly beings. People would see me as a blue being. Different places, I've been to different countries, and different people have said the same thing. So they're not like they talk to each other. They're going, I've just seen you as a blue alien when you were working on me. So does that mean that I am a blue alien? Probably not. It probably means that an energy was working through me, and they were in an altered state of consciousness to be able to perceive that. So, and that kind of takes me on to just a minute. So I think what's going to happen is that, one sec. 1, 2. Just a minute. I pulled my headphones out. I'm having a mare tonight. Must be a good one. Just a minute. Actually, I'm not going to edit this. It's just going to go out the way it is. 1 sec. I thought I'm not going to wear the big headphones because they look silly, don't they? And it's a little bit. I don't feel it's as connecting with people when you got big headphones on. But there you go. Right. Thank you. Right. So I think the intensity of these extraterrestrial, let's call them otherworldly or otherworldly, are going to come in more. I mean, Bashar said that there's craft in the atmosphere, and there's people that I know that say, oh, well, I've just been taken to a craft in the non-physical. I was lying in bed, and the next minute I'm in a UFO. Again, it might be true, and I believe that based on the idea that we are in this simulation, so many things can happen, and some of the things that I've experienced and the people I've experienced, I know, it's quite probable and very likely. But there's a difference between believing something and experiencing it and turning that into knowledge. And I would say to everyone, be open-minded and skeptical and go, okay, I'll look at that. I'm not going to go, that's a load of rubbish, because you might be missing out on a load of things that are going to happen. So what's happening why are they coming now? They're coming now because they're wanting to help raise the consciousness of the planet. They're wanting to help give some more information as to where we are, who we are, what is our purpose. And for some people, they will welcome them open arms, and for other people, they will be full of fear. And one of the things that has also been mentioned is that when you have contact with these frequencies, these higher beings or extraterrestrials, is that their frequency is so high that it triggers a fear response in us. It's so high it triggers that fear response so what's going to happen? They're probably going to introduce lower frequency people that can calibrate, beings that can calibrate. So, and also beings that look like us, because you don't want, really weird alien-looking things that trigger off our fear responses, because that's going to put us into a bad place. Some of the things I want to show you, these two. So this is a nice, I think the aliens are probably going to look a little bit like that one on the left. Okay, which is kind of cute, isn't it? It's like, you don't really feel threatened by that. It doesn't mean that they're not going to have all these abilities, but now the one on the right, this is called the mantis. Now the mantis apparently work with the greys. This is a lot of spiritual people believe this, and I've not experienced the mantis myself, but I know somebody very close I work with, and they were in she was a shaman, and she saw the mantis quite clearly, and it came and helped. And a few other people have said that they come to help, but when you've got a 6 foot tall being or 7 foot tall being that looks like a praying mantis, you always think that they're going to bite your head off or something. But they are apparently very highly skilled technicians. And again, I don't know this, but if you ever meet one, don't just kind of jump to conclusions. But yeah, when you're in the altered states, you see some really amazing things, and some of the things that you can't explain. So I'm just going to read a couple of comments. Bashar is amazing. Let me go up. I don't want to miss anything here. I need a producer. Aggie says, a blue being, maybe you are in a parallel universe. Maybe, yeah. Interesting, Aggie. We are multidimensional beings, and sometimes when we connect with them, the aspects of our human mind cannot comprehend this, so we see this as separate from us. True. Well, a couple of nights ago, trying to explain this is this sometimes I can't get to sleep, and I get images, and I go, what's that about? And then I get like a story. So I've done some AI today to try and illustrate what I was trying to explain there. And that point is really interesting, because when Medea talks about the fact that our human mind can't comprehend it. So this is the picture I got in my head. Right, imagine, let's go into a metaphor now. We're in metaphor land. Imagine it's a Super Bowl. Okay, there's thousands of people in the stadium. There's thousands of people actually watching or millions of people watching, and then there's a football player. He's got to make a field shot, a few hundred yards away, and his heart's pumping. He's nervous. His breath's going. Everybody's anticipation. You can feel the energy in the whole building. Okay. Now next to him, there's an ant, right? And so they're both in the same reality. Okay, this is the reality. They are both in the same reality. The ant and the football player. Okay, so when the football player plays. Now the crowd will go crazy, and they'll go, "Oh, it's amazing!" And everybody will feel something, and it'll be celebrations. Now all the ant's going to perceive is the vibration. Maybe some colours, maybe some blurred colours, like I've just shown you there, but sensory information, because that's all the ant can do. That's its total capability. So I think, and I was saying, well, what's this about? And they're saying, well, look, even though you're in a certain reality, your ability to perceive things is based on your level of consciousness and the tools that you have with it. So we when we experience these other beings like this, they are probably presenting themselves in a way that is reflective of what we can perceive as. Ultimately, if we can't understand or put something into a metaphor that we can interpret, then it's no use to us. So the chances are that when they do finally appear in some format, it won't be their original format, or there'll be certain beings that won't come through their original format. The psychics, the healers, the sensitives, they're already being primed for this. And I think that's why there's been a lot of work, a lot of push from, certainly from in my life in the last 10 years to really help people raise the frequency. And I'm saying, well, what's this all about? And we're raising the frequency so we can connect to not just these higher beings, but aspects of our higher self. Because when you think about it, if we are a lower frequency, like say that purple there, just where his neck is, and they are at a higher frequency, they have to do a lot of work to get to us. They have to work really hard. They have to lower their frequency, and we have to raise ours. So, and those that can't raise it, they won't be able to connect. It's metaphysical science, I guess. So this is why it's important that as a collective we raise our consciousness so we can connect to these high frequencies, more information, which is obviously love. So yeah, that's the ant idea. And one of the other things, I wasn't going to say this, but I'll throw it in anyway. When I talked about the stars earlier, you've got millions and millions and millions of stars. I talked to Tom Campbell about this once, and he went, well, it's a simulation. And sorry, Tom, if you watch this and you hear my impression of it, it's terrible. Well, it's a simulation. No. He says, well, it's a simulation, so the system will just keep creating more content. So to put that into analogy, I did this just before we went live, actually. There's a new device now that's out where you use VR, but you've got a travelator. Let's call it a travelator. So you can keep running on the spot and you're still moving. So imagine you are in a VR and you're going down a room, and all there is a corridor like this. So you go down a corridor, not a room. And when you turn left, there's nothing there. But the system goes, actually, if that person turns left, let's create a plant pot. Let's create, another doorway and a picture frame and everything else. But it's not just creating random shapes. It's creating stuff that is representative of that game, basically. So before you turn the corner, it doesn't actually exist. And this is the theory of quantum physics. As you turn the corner, now it's already there. Just before you turn the corner, it's there. Just before you turn the next corner, another procedural calculations is I think is what it's called. So what this means is that, as Tom said, is that the scientists are always going to find stars. They're always going to find more stars. It's not like they're going to come to the edge of the universe, because as they get to a certain point, if it's a simulation, then they're just going to go, let's create more. If it's a simulation, let's create more. It's not doing any more calculations. It's just creating more. So the more you look, the more you see, if that makes sense. So it's not like we're in a glass bubble. So that's another theory, that quantum physics unites everything it talks about, is the fact that we have procedural calculations, and that as we look at something, there's always going to be more of it. Yeah, So that was that. So that's why there's so many stars. And as the telescopes get bigger and bigger and bigger, they'll find 15 times, 20 times, 100 times more than that. And I'm sure that once we get more information and technology from higher evolved civilizations, we will start to understand that, the journey is inside. We spend billions on SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And, there's people that connect to it in their living room and they talk to beings and things. So, I think we need to start looking in a different direction. So let's assume that there are billions of stars and that we're not the only life here. Okay, we can also assume that we live in a simulation. That's another idea, which I tend to that's what I believe, and that these other energies, these other beings, are connecting with us already through meditation, through altered states of consciousness, through intuition, through art and creativity, through music. They're all presenting themselves, and through AI. as that develops, there'll be a level of consciousness where these can just communicate with us in a more realistic way. I think AI is going to be a real important bridge between technology and consciousness when we use it correctly. So yeah. Another thing, Joe Dispenza, I went on two of Joe's courses, and he's a really good teacher. And he, if you've not looked up his work, please look it up. He's very good, and he comes from a place of science and very pragmatic and ideal for the left-brainers and the people that aren't into the woo-woo stuff, because they come in through that, they have an experience, and when they have an experience, then they start questioning. And what Joe did, I went to two of his, one in Sweden, one in Germany, and it's a few-day event, it's a couple of days event, great people, great event. And then I saw him in an interview, and he mentioned about these beings, these blue beings. And these are like, he says, when he's doing his work, sometimes there's a group of them at the back, really tall, these beings, and they come forward. You'll find it on one of the interviews. And I thought it was fascinating because, people are having these big spiritual awakenings, and he wasn't mentioning the fact that there's beings there, because that would alienate a lot of people. A lot of people in the audience were like doctors and technicians and, engineers, and they would be like, oh, we're not going into that. But because he measures everything, he uses technology, and then once they have an experience, their minds are open enough to go, I just had an experience, can you explain that? So yeah, I think the way he's gone about it has been really good. Science first and then spirituality later, and to a degree Tom Campbell has as well, and that's kind of how I like to work. There's some science there, there's some idea about it, and then you can move forward. So yeah, there we go. So I think that some of our guides are actually beings from another reality, absolutely, which they are. And I think some of what we call extraterrestrials are also guiding us. There's lots of talk about the Galactic Federation. I've had some experience at that, but it's not something I can verify. But the idea is very nice, that there's a group of these beings, non-physical aliens, should I say, aliens that are physical, that are working with us through our consciousness. And what will happen, and what seems to be happening, is that lots more people are having dreams. I dreamt I got taken to a UFO, or I dreamt I met this being and they give me something, or they give me this code or something. It's a gradual introduction into the consciousness. Now, me and Medea have said before that if we saw a UFO, it feels like we've been working with them already for years. I wouldn't be panicking. I wouldn't be saying, oh my God, I'd be walking towards it. I seriously would. It doesn't faze me in the slightest, where some people will be petrified and other people will be open-armed as well. So I think a lot of people have already been primed more than they realize. And one of the funny things is that when the Pentagon were tentatively released that information about, here is some exclusive information, and, they expected to freak out, and people just went, oh, that's interesting, and carried on. 50 years ago, they would have panicked, and now they're like, yeah, well, there's more important things than that at the moment. So I think the time is right. And when we talk about angels, do I believe angels exist? This is a funny one, isn't it? I did a podcast with Elizabeth Rose, who works with angels, and Tom, and it's a really good podcast, well worth watching. And from Tom's perspective, angels are metaphors, and they're a representation, like we're metaphors as well, so it doesn't mean that it's floaty, but fundamentally they're not fundamental, like we are not. The only thing that's fundamental is consciousness. So it's a belief system at some level. It's hard to say either way. I mean, I know that the experiences that Elizabeth has, and the information that she gives to people, and the experiences that so many people have with angels is incredible. And I really do like to think, I do like to talk as well. I got, angels, if you're there. So there's a part of me that really does believe, and likes to believe, and continues to believe that they are there. Now, what they look like, that's a different thing. So our interpretation of angels is this, which is beautiful. It's light, it's golden, it's iridescent. And the colours of things are very important because it's a frequency. You know, you don't get red angels. It's always some high frequency vibration because that's a representation. Now, in the Bible, people are starting to actually do illustrations now because they have technology. According to the Bible, this is what the angels actually look like. And they look a little bit scary, right? They look a little bit scary. I'll just warn you now if you haven't seen this before, but this is what they say angels look like. So this is how they were described in certain parts of the Bible, apparently, which is this. Huge eye, all-seeing, da-da-da-da. And what's interesting is that there's been UFOs recently that have had exactly the same shape, not like a big eye, but the same spirals within spirals, circles within circles. And this got me thinking that I did this in AI today. If a helicopter, just a helicopter, forget the wings, arrived at a remote tribe, they've never seen it, or a helicopter arrived 2,000 years ago, how would they depict it? How would they do drawings of it? Would they put wings on it? Would they say it's a bird? It's all about, and I'm going back to the ant, it's all about your ability to perceive things and how you interpret that information. For some people, that's fine. That's maybe how they look, and they're going to be fine with that. For other people, they need to see it as this because that's what they're going to relate to. I personally like to think that they look like this, and yeah. But however they look, if I'm ready to see them like this, then so be it. But I prefer this one. Thank you very much. So yeah, I think guides, angels, and some of these non-physical, some of these energies that are extraterrestrial are also interacting with us interacting with us on an unconscious level, and also working with our frequencies. And I definitely feel the energies move in to my space when I'm working, and they're nice energies, and they've guided me this far. A lot of information that I teach has just come from that up there. It's just come in, and then you watch somebody else who's channeling, they say the same thing. You think, great, I'm getting the right source here. So what I say to people when they do activate, and they do connect to these frequencies, then that's all you need. You don't need to read loads of books. Seriously, you just need to connect. All the information's there. You are part of this quantum field, and the energy's there. The information's there. Everything that's ever happened, everything that's going to happen to a degree, probabilistically. So yeah, I hope that makes some sense. So yeah. Oh, see that? Oh, that's my new course, by the way. I just want to. I'll say it now. So this is my new course, which will help you to do this. It's going to be pretty special, and I'll tell you more about that after the meditation. But yeah, I'm really liking the way it's looking in regards to the colours, the frequency, the stuff. So yeah, awesome. Boom. Right. Couple of questions, and get yourself, if you need to go to the toilet, and get yourself in a place where you can relax with your headphones, and we'll start a few minutes and we'll do this meditation. And I was saying just before I started, I haven't a clue what meditation it is, so it's literally going to channel through. It probably is related to what we're talking about, so I'm going to enjoy this just like you are. So yeah, any questions, anybody? It's a bit quiet on the Western Front. I think I've just waffled for 48 minutes straight. There's a lot of information there, but it's it does all tie together. It does all make sense when you understand that we're in a one field of energy, and that everything presents itself in a certain way. So yeah. Ruby's just listening intently. Good to hear, Ruby. Yeah, I've got a little dot on my eye. What's going on there? It's a bit weird. Anyway. Strange things tonight. And what happens is that when you connect to the energy, you can feel it. It just steps in. It's not there yet, but when it does, it's like, oh, I'm in. They've started work. Oh. Excuse my cracking neck. Cracking pair of knees, as they say. So, all quiet. Nobody else there. Have you all gone? Have you all left? Does that make sense to everyone? Is that something that people can relate to, or anything they disagree with? I'm always interested. They're going, shut up, we just came from the meditation. It's hot. Right. Yes, definitely. Thank you, Ruby. I love it. There's 12 watching. 12 watching and a few more 100 that'll join in the next couple of days, which is great. Oh, right. Bev saying, completely agree. Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? When you start working with the energy, you kind of go, yeah, that feels right. That makes sense. It makes sense. But enjoy this reality now, because within 5 years, this is going to be a completely different place. The shift is happening very quickly. And yeah, just having a spiritual understanding and perspective is going to help navigate, the changes. Say the changes, yeah. And let's be thankful and thank, what energies, your God, creators, whatever, that we're not in a place that is going through so much turmoil at the moment, and there's plenty of that happening. So we are in a place where we can give time to what we're experiencing, and give time to developing ourselves as well. Because if you're in a place where your environment is constantly threatened and your safety is constantly threatened, and everything's so uncertain, it's very hard to move into a place where you can really start to use and connect to these energies. So yeah, I'm very grateful at the lack of that sort of thing in my life at the moment. So let's hope it stays that way, and for all you guys as well. And we send our blessings out to all those that are out there, and what challenging lives people have chosen sometimes on a soul level. Yeah, cheers, Josh. Trust in the process. Yeah, okay, great. All right, so just take a few deep breaths. Put your headphones on if you haven't got them on already, and we'll see where we go. Okay, just a welcome to all those that are listening and all those that will listen in the future. You're right where you're supposed to be at this moment. And thank you for taking the time and listening to your intuitive self to join this place. Let's begin with a few deep breaths, inhaling and slowly exhaling. Slowly paying attention to any tension in your bodies. Attention to the tension in your body, in your shoulders. Relax them. Relax your arms. Maybe tense your hands into fists a couple of times. Hold that tension in your hands and then just relax and let go. And feel the difference. Allowing all the thoughts, everything you've done today just to fade away. You're now in a different moment, relaxing your neck. Deep breath in, breathing out with the intention of going inside. exploring new possibilities. As you hear the sound of the music and the sound of my voice, relax all the muscles in your face. And then move your intention down to your stomach. Relax your legs and especially your feet. You might have to curl your toes, tighten your feet, tighten all those toes and the muscles, not too tight. And as I count from 5 down to 1, just relax the muscles in your feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Energy follows your intent, and your intention is to relax deep enough for your consciousness to expand, for you to become aware of the subtle energies around you, within you. And relax all the muscles in your jaw and your eyes. Let your body go limp and heavy. And as you become aware of your own thoughts, you can become aware how those thoughts become more and more spaced apart. There's nothing to think about apart from thinking about nothing. Slowing down. Without any expectation, you may find that you drift to different places. Allowing the subtle energies to move to where exactly they're supposed to be to help you facilitate. Deeper calmness. Inside there is space, infinite space. We are all part of a consciousness system, all created with love, by love. Eternally moving, without a beginning, without an end. Striving to learn and experience different aspects of itself. There is no separation from you, or God, or everything that is. You can merge into everything that is in any given moment with the right thoughts and the right energy. Above the planet now, and in the subtle energies around you, there are beings, there are consciousness, there are helpers, there are guides. Always there. During your sleeping hours, you connect to these energies And when you wake, you mostly forget the interaction. However, when you're in a deep meditative state, opportunities arise for you to connect to these energies with a conscious awareness. Open your mind to the possibilities that anything good can just spontaneously happen. And as you breathe in, see, sense or feel energy around your body expanding. With every breath in, imagine, see, sense or feel this energy expanding. Perhaps it has a colour, a vibration. See it endlessly expanding out of your room, out into the street, into the atmosphere, as far as it could possibly be. The fastest thing that exists is thought. Everything is created with thought. You can move to anywhere, any place, instantly. Because you are consciousness. And there is no distance in these other realms. There is no time. Now visualize a place in some part of the cosmos. A planet, a blue planet surrounded by an atmosphere. And imagine or sense getting closer to this blue planet. Floating in the void. What would it feel like to gently float through the clouds, slowly descending through layers of moisture, through a pure, clean air. And as you move through the clouds, the landscape is vast, full of beautiful flowers, greenery, huge lakes, water. And you notice that there are beautiful white modern buildings, spires, all curved, all working perfectly with nature and its surroundings. See, sense or feel yourself drifting towards these beautiful futuristic buildings. What can you see? On this planet, there's a different energy. A higher vibrational frequency that welcomes you into this space. And visualize yourself, see, sense or feel yourself standing in front of a large door belonging to one of these amazing looking buildings. This huge door is made of wood. And as I count from 10 down to 1, this door gradually opens as you step through into the room. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And as the door slowly opens, you walk into the room. Inside there's a huge space. Beautiful, white, clear. Everything is perfect. The floor is reflective, like polished tiles. And at the far side of the room, there's a table. And behind the table, there are 4 beings, sat in chairs there to welcome you. They are wearing long robes. They have been expecting your arrival as you walk towards them. What colour is the room? Is there a light? What can you perceive? As you walk towards them, another being guides you to a chair that sits directly in front of all these other 4 beings. And as you slowly take your place, you can sense an energy of love, of purpose, and familiarity. As you sit there, one of the beings on the left-hand side is looking at a piece of paper. A piece of paper that looks like an ancient scroll. But the difference is that this ancient scroll has luminescent symbols glowing off the page. It's as if they are there to check that something within your energy field needs to be aligned. Now feel this energy moving up your body from the very chair that you're sitting in. Rings of light moving around you, faster and faster. The sound fills the room, and light fills the room. One of the beings stands up, slowly walks around the table, and as they move behind you, they place their hands on the top of your head. Healing energy comes in through your crown chakra, in through your third eye chakra. And codes of information pass into you at a being level. As the scroll is passed to another one of these beings, they hand it to you, and as they do, you can absorb all the information that is written in these symbols upon this scroll into your very being, that is personal to you. It's time for you to realize what your purpose is, why you incarnated here. Energetically guiding you onto the right path. You are not who you think you are. You are not your body. You are not your name or your personality. You are a high vibrational being who has chosen to incarnate, chosen to learn specific lessons. And it's now time for you to realize this, to see your life from a different perspective, from who you truly are. As you raise your frequency, this ability to be able to perceive things differently from your higher self will become easier. Now bring whatever energy that you could feel into various parts of your body. What needs energetically aligning? Allow the energy to use its own intelligence to find that which needs to heal. as the circle of energy around you starts to dissipate. You notice that the four beings on the other side of the table are now smiling. The being that was behind you, with their hands on their head, is now sat opposite. And without speaking, what are you perceiving? Now, you notice behind them there's a large energy in the shape of a pyramid, a triangle, like a huge doorway, glowing with energy, purples, cyan, blue, iridescent. You are guided to step towards it. This is an energetic portal. See, sense, or feel yourself giving thanks to those in that room and the helper. And slowly turn towards this energetic doorway and step in as I count from 5 down to 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And as you step in, you just feel yourself floating, transported into a void of calmness, of peace, of point consciousness, and just be. And it's in this space that you can invite all those other beings that have your best interests at heart to move into your energy field. Now start to feel rings of energy moving up from your feet, moving up your body, spinning faster and faster, moving that frequency up even higher. And as you continue on this journey of expanding your consciousness and awareness with an intent to grow, to learn, to become more, you will find it easier and easier to perceive these subtle energies within yourself and with all those around you. Remember, you are created with love. In every good decision you make, remind you that you are that which created you. Always choose love over fear. And allow your intuition to connect to everything that is and guide you on your path. Bring your attention back to your breath, breathing in, the sacred breath, filling up your lungs and slowly breathing out. Nothing is more important than the moment, than the now. As I count from 10 down to 1, we ask that all aspects of you come back into this space, feeling refreshed, realigned, rebalanced, with a deep sense of calmness. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And just bring yourself back. Wiggle your toes, your hands, your nose if it helps. Feel yourself back in your body. And as soon as you are back, please leave a message in the chat. Say hi. If you want to share your experiences, please do. It's always good to hear what people experience during these meditations. I don't know about you, but I could actually see the planet. I could see the building. I could actually go back there now in my mind's eye. And I was just describing what I could see, really. Thank you, Ruby. Yeah, just give us a thumbs up when you're back, then I know everybody's made it back okay and they're not still out there. Ruby said this was quite intense for me. My fingers were pulsating. Cool. Good. And she's saying I could smell. What could you smell, Ruby? Patchouli oil. Awesome. They may have had some in the building. I didn't see it. There were some stands either side. I didn't pay much attention to them. So yeah. I'll just wait a few more minutes before people are back. Just, as soon as you're back, I'll start. And also this will be available in the meditation library that's on my Patreon. So I'll be adding that probably tomorrow morning it'll be in. So if you want to re-go through this, yeah, it's there. And I'll be adding some more meditations as the weeks go on, as we do. Aggie's back. I am very, very relaxed. Bev's chakra sound waves, lion-faced beings, lyrans. Oh, that's interesting. Anybody else see any lions? Lyrans. Wow, that's cool, isn't it? What did I see? Just 4 beings. They were kind of smartly dressed. They had like, yeah, really kind of nice, very, almost like a light blue. It's always nice when I don't describe it in detail because it opens up your ability to be able to perceive things that you need to perceive. I don't want to influence people too much, but yeah, it's they look very nice actually, kind of cool. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So, Ruby said I saw a cream-faced being, but looked slightly animal. Oh, good. Elisa saying, and I fell totally asleep. No idea what you said. I'll do this again. Sometimes, we say this before, sometimes the mind goes off because it's not needed. And it's, you know, it doesn't distract. So, yeah. Yeah, do this one again, Elisa. It's pretty cool. When you are actually following it, I think you might have a different experience. Yeah. So, what else am I going to say? Yeah. So, yeah, let's have a look. So, like I said before, I've just launched this yesterday. This is the Heal Yourself Complete Spiritual Healing course. And it's going to be different from the other courses that people do because it's going to be live. There's going to be some really nice videos as well for you to watch. But it's also going to be live like this. Talking about specific subjects that all relate to guiding you to activate this energy within yourself. 6-week course. There'll be 3 days a week, and if you can't make them, you can watch the reruns. But there will be energy healing, and also personal energy healing. So you'll get 6 personal 1-hour sessions included. Manuals that you'll download. It's going to be pretty cool, and it's quite intense from my side, but every single session is going to be about really guiding you and moving this energy up. So yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. So if you know anybody that'd like to go on it, or you'd like to go on it, please get in touch. The first 10 spaces, there's only going to be a few spaces after, about 20 spaces maximum, but the first 10 is a special offer because I think it's the only right thing that I do. So it's a really good price for the first 10 people, and you can find all the information at healingvibrations.co.uk. We'll be doing live Facebook. There'll be a Zoom as well, a group Zoom, and yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. And I'm working hard in the background, getting everything ready. So any questions, please let us know. There you go. All the information's on the website, which is looking really sparkly now. Yeah, well, thank you again. Yeah, the song is, I wrote it for Yeshua, and I'm thinking of doing an album, and that's going to be one of the songs on it. I just thought about Yeshua, and then I started writing this music, and it was just I'll play it actually. It's really cool. Let's have a look. But forgot to mention, this is the new Facebook page I've just created. It's called Healing Vibrations page, because all the others have gone. Healing Vibrations page. If you want to head over there, I'm trying to build this community here where people can connect and stay in touch, and I think it's a really cool place to go. So yeah, let's have a go at that. 685 followers already. It's not bad, is it? So please go over there, and just because it's got lots of followers, it doesn't mean there's lots of energy going in, but it will be. We'll start putting some energy into that, and we'll start really doing it. So yeah, so this is this song in the background is a piece I wrote for the Yeshua meditation, and I just kind of tuned into that time, that what instruments would they use, what it would be like, and you almost try and smell what the markets would be like and what the air would be like, and imagine Jesus with his disciples walking down the hill, and then the music kind of just comes through. So yeah, it's kind of cool. But it's one of my favorites actually, I must admit. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to play this out. Thank you again, and yeah, please get in touch, and if you're interested in doing the course, head over to Healing Vibrations.